Well, joining me on the line to help us get down to the bottom of all this is precious metals expert Tom Cloud. Hey, Tom, great to have you with me today.
Thank you, Jerry. As always, glad to be with you.
Tom, you have obviously heard about the Goldline Glenn Beck fiasco. Beck has been sounding the alarm about excessive money printing by the Fed and the threat posed by inflation. But then, in the next breath, he's pushing the special quote-unquote antique coins that are available through Goldline. And he makes the claim that these special coins are not able to be confiscated by an out-of-control government, and he refers back to 1933. What's your take on all this that's happening right now with Goldline and Glenn Beck?
Well, I mean, the same thing, Jerry, I've talked to people about for 10 years is when you buy an antique coins, they're really a collectible item. And when people buy them to anticipate making a profit, that's a whole different story. You should be buying gold bullion coins. What's interesting, in this 10-year bull market run, we've seen gold bullion go from $256 to $1,200 an ounce, which is nearly 500%. And during the same time frame, the certified coin dealer newsletter index has gone up less than 200%. So all you got to do is go out there and look and know it's not the right thing to be in. And the reason telemarketing firms push them is they can use the news of the day that people need gold in their portfolio, but they don't want to sell gold bullion because the markups are real low. So they can sell numismatic coins and make markups that we're now seeing with these telemarketers are 40 to 90%.
Well, and that seems like that's what's happening now, because we are in a time where people are rushing for the doors for precious metals. You know, here at Follow the Money, we talk about 4 different asset classes that we really feel that over the long haul, at least over the next decade, are going to perform very well, and we call it PACE, and it's precious metals, agriculture, commodities, and energy. And I think as the mad dash for these types of asset classes drives up, we're going to have to simply go through some of these times where reference that it's a good deal. So I really appreciate you kind of distinguishing between the two. We have numismatic or collector type of coins, and then there's bullion. So I guess, Tom, if somebody's goal is to protect themselves against the threat of coming inflation, you're saying basically that bullion is the better play for that. But if they're wanting to collect coins and hold them and, maybe hold them for their collector value, then numismatic might be the better choice. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. But most people you talk to that are looking, they're being led to believe that numismatic is investment, and it is an investment. I mean, we're not saying it's not an investment, but it certainly doesn't have the upside potential to go up like bullion coins do, in my opinion, and certainly the track record for 10 years has bared that out. And really, when you say the word bullion, it's also confusing to investors because they think you're talking about a big bar, but bullion is anything that goes up or down based on the spot price of gold.
Tom, how many of these gold dealers that are out there, because there's many of them, how many gold dealers would you say, you've been in the business for 33 years, how many of them are like Goldline that promote these types of numismatic coins to people who are looking to invest in gold?
Well, I mean, they're the big ones that you see on the MSNBCs, and the ones, there's about 6 or 7 real large ones that have a presence and use big name people to promote. And of course, a lot of people find out about gold through these commercials. But one thing a client of mine told me who made a lot of money in telephone marketing one time is, if you get a call from somebody at home, you know immediately it's a bad deal. I mean, you need to be doing your research and due diligence by asking people like you and asking your friends and people in your church that you're interested in buying gold and where they buy it. But you don't need to be buying it from telemarketer firms because the cost of their advertising is very high, and they have to have a higher markup. But they're putting in the wrong thing at the wrong price, and you just can't expect to make money. I could spend hours telling you horror stories I'm talking about every week I get calls, and I have to be the one to tell somebody they put in $15,000 like yesterday, and I tell her portfolio is worth $8,700, and she thinks she's doing well. And she had all rare coins in there that she bought from a telemarketing firm, and her commission on it we figure is about 65%.
That's a huge incentive to sell numismatic coins, and that kind of explains why there seems to be such a push in that direction. And that's why, I have been so proud of our relationship, because you are very strong on the bullion side. You totally get that people are fearing inflation, and of course inflation is a fear. Of course there's excessive money printing at the Fed. But as I've said on this show over and over again, the 1933 Gold Act that all of these guys point at when they're trying to sell you numismatic coins, that history does not back them up, because in 1933 no one was fined for not turning in their gold. No one was imprisoned for not turning in their gold. I tell you what, if they come to your door like these people envision the socialist world that we seem to be heading towards, if these fellas come to your door, pound on your door, and try to collect your gold, I promise you they're going to take the numismatics too. If they get to the point where they're at your door, they're not going to say, "Oh, those are collector coins, you get to keep those." So it's almost a silly argument to even believe that would even be a possibility.
It is, Jerry, and I've written about it over the last 10 years in particular, and it's a very silly argument. And one of the things in this investigation of Glenn Beck is about the salesman trying to scare people into buying numismatic coins by telling them they can't be confiscated. But you know what's funny? I travel around the world and have for 30-plus years in this business, and it's really weird. Nobody outside of this country wants American rare coins and pay the premium. It's crazy.
All right, well, let's run a Goldline special here for a minute, and let's just say if someone listening to the program today bought from Goldline, they watched Glenn Beck, they called Goldline, they got pressured into buying some of these really expensive coins, and it's going to require gold going to $1,800 for them to actually break even. Would you say that? I know this kind of puts you in a point of conflict, but it kind of makes you wonder if it might be a wise decision for them to sell and get into bullion now. If someone were to call you with some of these expensive Goldline coins, could they trade them in for bullion coins from you and pay a lot lower fee than what they paid originally?
Absolutely. I would be happy. I feel sorry for people. As you and I have talked about several times, I do this because I love people, and I hate to see Christians especially getting ripped off, and that's the reason I still enjoy working, is helping people. And I would be glad to talk about what they have, what the real value is in the wholesale market, and I could work a deal to get them in the right things at a very, very low fees, and we can discuss those and disclose those where they don't have to worry about paying a 60 or 70% commission. And we're talking about 3% type expenses to get these things exchanged somewhere depending on what it is and how much trouble it is to sell. But you're talking about a very, very low price to pay to change over, because as I said when I started this talk today, first question you ask is, if you look out the next few years, I see gold bullion continuing to outpace, because I really even see my clients that do buy numismatic coins for collector, even their demand is slowing down because they know they need to be in bullion. So I would be happy to talk to anybody listening to this program, and they could reach me at 800-247-2812, 800-247-2812, and I'd be happy to discuss with them and help them get positioned for what we see coming down the road.
All right. Well, that's a great special. If you'd like to get a free consultation with Tom Cloud, just give him a call, 800-247-2812, 800-247-2812. Tell him that you heard him on the Follow the Money weekly radio show. Mention my name, and he'll throw in free shipping and insurance on all of your orders. I have a feeling, Tom, when they call, they're not going to be high pressured.